Good morning and welcome to 1 Million Cups. If you can fill up your cup with coffee, and then we'll get started here in about 60 seconds. Oh, I should have actually. Wow. That right there is most to be at the same Christmas gift.
Should let these define coffee that you have like mugs for sale.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. We actually really should. I bet we could get logo. Well, good morning and welcome to 1 Million Cups. For those of you who are new, 1 Million Cups is a Kaufman Foundation-sponsored program designed to feature startups and entrepreneurs from our community and region. Every week we bring in a new speaker, and it's a short presentation, and really the focus is on audience participation and Q&A, so that the audience learns and the entrepreneur also gets something out of it from kind of crowdsourcing their startup. So a couple housekeeping items. We want to thank our sponsors, obviously Cider Gallery for hosting us, and they have cider offices upstairs, which is a co-working space for freelancers and entrepreneurs. Z's Divine Espresso for the divine free coffee that we serve every week. A friendly tip from Clay, he reminded me, bring a reusable cup if you can. And then also LawrenceHits.com for recording and live streaming our broadcasts every week. Also, if you like to hop on social media, these businesses benefit from kind of buzz, so we appreciate tweets and Facebook posts. The Wi-Fi here is CiderNet. The user is million, the word, all lowercase. The password is cups, right up here. And we've got some information. If you want to tweet about today's presenter, that's all up here on the board. Now, without further ado, I'm happy to present Crystal from Paws. She made the trek over from Kansas City. She's got a great new startup to talk about today with a couple of helpers.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Crystal Levy, and I am the founder of Paws. And I do have a couple of friends here today. Coconut is pictured here and down here in her little hoodie. She is one of my mascots, and you all can come meet her afterwards. And then she also brought her friend Charlie along today. So, like I said, my name is Crystal Levy. I'm the founder of Paws. I started my company in May of 2013 with the idea of making your dog a better drinking buddy. So, I always like to start things off with this question. How many people out here have dogs? I had a feeling there'd be a lot. So that puts you in good company with me, of course. About 47% of Americans have dogs, at least one of them. A few more of us have two, and I have Coconut and then a miniature Australian Shepherd named Kona. And now, how many people out there drink beer? Excellent. I also like to see that. So again, you're in good company with me. We're all part of about a $100 billion industry. So like I said, I started Paws with the idea of making your dog a better drinking buddy. So right around Cinco de Mayo of 2013 is when I actually launched the company. And I launched it with a different product than what I really focus on now. And the thing is, like a lot of people, I'm sort of one of those folks who might set something down and I can't remember where I put it. And that means bottle openers. So I came up with an idea to solve that problem. I stuck the bottle opener on the dog. So at the time, that dog was a golden retriever, and it made him extra useful and a huge hit at parties. So started selling those and giving a portion of proceeds back to rescue. And right from the get-go, people just love this idea of dogs and drinking and wanted me to roll out more products that had to do with that, and love the fact that we gave back about 10% of profits to rescue. And really, people wanted me to make beer for dogs, but we'll get to that part later. So pretty quick, I stumbled upon a recipe for spent grain dog biscuits, and I started talking to some home brewers that I knew to find out, hey, what do you guys do with your spent grains? Could I maybe use some of those, test out some recipes, and make some dog biscuits that I could give to my customers? So started making those, and people, again, really liked them. And so we started moving the company in that direction. And I don't know how familiar you all are with the process of making beer, but in the first stage, you the brewers will soak and steep and mash these grains, and then they don't need them anymore. Those grains help set the flavor profile, but then they can't really be used in the beer anymore. So a lot of times they'll partner up with farmers. Sometimes they'll just compost them, and some home brewers and small breweries don't really have a solution, so those grains just end up in the trash, which is kind of a bummer because it's a perfectly viable product. It's human grade and in human beer. So I can take those grains and add peanut butter, eggs, and love, and make a super crunchy, high protein, high fiber dog biscuit. And this is what our current packaging for the dog biscuits is like. I'm supposed to hold this right here, sorry. So these are our dog biscuits, and I brought some samples today there's a few back there that you guys can pick up and take home for your dogs afterwards. And so the dog biscuits are all natural. I make each one of them myself right now with a melon baller at home. So I can make about 800 a night, and so far that's keeping us supplied up. But we are partnering with more and more breweries all the time. I started out with the home brewers, and then I started working with nano breweries. So as I was mentioning that there's kind of a sustainability angle to what we do. So when I partner with this nano brewery in Kansas City, Green Room, they don't actually, typically they would just throw out their grains. So when I'm able to take their grains, I can really help them complete that cycle and keep them from throwing it away. Also, around the same time that I started the company, there was a kismet moment where a brewery opened up across the street from my house. And that brewery is Kansas City Beer Company, and they're also one of our big, strong partners. We've begun working a little bit with Boulevard Brewing Company, which is pretty exciting for us. And because I'm a Nebraska girl, all along I wanted to grow my company in Nebraska as well. And so we work with Nebraska Brewing Company and have just begun working with Blue Blood Brewing Company and Zipline Brewing Company. So what we do is I'll make the biscuits and we provide them to the breweries, and they can sell them at the brewing companies. They can sell them, if they have a gift shop. Our products also do really well at liquor stores. We're in a few Hy-Vees. And of course, we also have pet boutiques that are interested in selling our products. And the one product that the pet boutiques seem to like even better than our beer biscuits is our doggy beer. So I promised I was going to get to that. Our doggy beer is beer for dogs. Of course, hops and alcohol aren't very good for your dogs, so we don't want to put that in there. But anyone out there actually ever given your dog a sip of beer?
Come on.
It's okay, there's no shame. It happens. And sometimes, like dogs like Coconut will just go for it. She'll knock over bottles of beer, and I have to watch her. So we're currently the only producers of doggy beer in the Midwest. There are a few other competitors on the West Coast and one in Brazil. Like I said, it's not really beer. It won't get them drunk, but it will most likely give them the beer munchies. In the beginning, I really thought this product was just going to be purely a novelty product. And then I started giving bottles of it to rescue groups and just, people with dogs. And really quickly, we discovered the power of the beer munchies. And we got some really fantastic testimonials coming in from people who said, hey, my dog is really finicky, or my dog is older and sick, and I can't get him to eat. But when we pour a little bit of this beer over the food, then it increases the appetite. And I've actually had some testimonials from people saying it helped their dogs get back up to a healthy weight. And I haven't been clicking through my slides, but somewhere in here I have some pictures of the dog I had before Coconut, who's also a miniature pinscher named Scooby, and I gave him the doggy beer with permission from our vet right up until his last days, because a lot of times as they get older, their appetite will kind of wax and wane a little bit. And the bonus, I always say that our doggy beer is potent in a healthy way. So instead of the alcohol, it contains canine glucosamine. And any vet or a lot of baby boomers will also tell you that glucosamine is good for your joints. And so I mentioned that I didn't mention that Coconut's a little bit older, but my other dog was, and the doggy beer really goes over well with the older dogs. The average age of a dog in the United States right now is 6.6 years. So that means a lot of those dogs really do need glucosamine. 6.6 is by any breed standard, middle-aged to senior. So, and that's actually, I won't consider adopting a dog unless they're at least 5 years old. So that really hits my heart spot. We do a few other products with Beer Paws. The biscuits and the beer are really the main emphasis that we have. But I also partner with my dad on some fun products. As you can see in this picture and here today, Coconut is wearing her dog collar that's studded out with the bottle caps from Boulevard Brewing Company. We do a lot of custom bracelets and dog collars to help your dog rep your favorite beer brand. And as I mentioned, we do give back about 10% of our profits to rescue organizations. And one of the things I would love to have, if you guys walk away today and do nothing else, I would love it if you would all like our Facebook page and encourage other folks to. We're doing a campaign right now to try and get up to 3,000 likes on Facebook. And if we accomplish that by January 1st, I'll kick in an extra $100 to Great Plains SPCA, one of our rescue partners, and actually the shelter where I got Miss Coconut. So that's kind of in brief the Beer Paws story. I like these things better when I can just answer your questions and we can have a conversation. So I'm ready to open it up.
So it sounds like you stumbled onto this and now you're kind of trying to scale it. Mm-hmm. So can you talk about what have been like the challenges been in the scaling process?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have gone through, we went through a startup accelerator program called Beta Blocks. Some of you may or may not be familiar with it. And that has been helpful in getting me into more of a business mindset. My background is in marketing and journalism. So yeah, I absolutely stumbled on this idea and just kind of started running with it. Right now, one of the issues I'm facing with scale is we have a lot of brewery partners, obviously in Kansas City and in Nebraska, and we can get their spent grains and I can get them to my home or wherever I'm going to be baking in the right amount of time. We have interest from breweries in places further away from here, and so then I have to figure out, well, is it a matter of do we set up satellite baking locations, and how is that going to work? And of course, the next step will be moving out of my my home kitchen into a commercial kitchen at some point, or building one. So it's just kind of figuring out, all right, at what point are we going to be able to feel okay about making that investment and moving forward.
Why did you decide to be an entrepreneur rather than 9-to-5?
Well, it's kind of choosing me. I still, I'm not a full-time entrepreneur quite yet. I do have a full-time job that's actually been really helpful for me in giving me, also helping to put me in that business mindset and teaching me a lot about business. But I've always kind of been someone who likes to kind of run and do things my own way. And so I feel like it was just somewhat inevitable. And throughout my life, I've gone through periods where I'll be really, really excited about a project and really pushing forward until, okay, well, maybe that project, its lifespan is done, or it's not going to go anywhere. Beer Paws feels like something that I can really dig into and have it for a year, and it just, I can't imagine ever getting tired of it. It's so much fun. Dogs, beer, fun people.
I think in business we're always concerned about the customer and what they think. Tell us about some of the comments or criticisms or things that you've heard from customers that were helpful or maybe amusing or maybe just heartwarming.
That's an excellent question. We have really awesome customers with Beer Paws. One of the things that's interesting about the dog biscuits that I make is that they utilize spent grains. And right now, kind of in conjunction with the, everything is going gluten-free in people food, and you're seeing a lot less grains in pet foods and pet treats. So we've actually met with some resistance on that front. So it's been interesting to have those conversations with pet owners who are a little bit worried about the grain content of our treats. The thing about the spent grains is that they're actually really high protein and of course high fiber. And the way I position to people is I feed my dogs a grain-free or really grain-like dog food. But treats are a different story. Most of us don't, we don't have a bowl of cupcakes for breakfast, and I would never recommend having a bowl of beer biscuits for your dog's meal. It's a treat, and it's something fun for them, and it's not bad for them. So we've had a lot of conversations like that. those are the types of conversations we tend to get into when we go to pet expos and pet events. Now, we found that Beer Paws really shines at anything related to the craft beer lifestyle. So when we go to craft beer festivals, the product just sells itself, and people are so excited. They want to know our story. I think people who kind of live that craft beer lifestyle are used to wanting to find out the story behind the brewery, so that's what they come to me, and they want to know more about that. And they're just really excited to be able to give their dog potentially the same kind of treat as their favorite beer. And of course, the people whose dogs have really been helped by our doggy beer, those stories just like get me.
Sorry. You highlighted a couple different products that you have out, and they're all pretty different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, in your sales, what would you say is the percentage breakdown from like collar bottle openers, decorative collars, to the beer, to the biscuits?
So we've really been pushing. I'm actually moving a little bit away from the merchandise part of it, and so we're really focusing on the biscuits and the beer, and that 6 ounce, the small bag of biscuits that I brought here for a demonstration today, that is far and away our leading product. So that's like 75 to 80% of the sales, and the rest is made up by the collars, which mostly we do custom. We have those in a few pet boutiques, but people really like the idea of being able to build those out themselves and have the conversations with me. But the rest is with the doggy beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And just a follow-up question, what is the cost for making those biscuits for you? I know you get some of it donated and do some of it in-house, versus what you sell it for.
So it's about like less than $2 for us.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're working right now to, as our demand is growing, to figure out how we can drive our prices down and buy, our bags and everything in bulk quantities. So we're getting closer on all that.
Okay. And what do you sell them for?
So they sell for about $6 a bag retail.
Can you talk about the process of being able to make product to sell from your home?
Yeah, so because we don't make treats for people, because it's not human products, although I do use all human grade ingredients, we don't actually have to have a certified kitchen or anything, so I just had to register with the state of Missouri, which is where I'm based, and we also registered with Kansas. An agent from the Missouri Ag Department actually did come visit my kitchen and have a chat with me and kind of help coach me through some stuff. I do have to register my products once a year at a price of about $25 per product, and I have to do that in every state that we sell in. So that's why we're pretty regionally focused right now.
Do you have any plans to expand your offerings beyond dogs? Horses, cats, every animal likes treats.
No, you're exactly right. We've had a lot of interest from the cat owners. I just haven't figured out exactly what that's going to be. I've had anecdotally some folks have given their cats the doggy beer. There's not anything in there in the quantities that would give it to them. It's not going to hurt them at all. And I've heard that it makes the cats also a little more interested in their food. And I've had some people give their cats the biscuits. We've tested out the treats on horses. I think there could be a future in that at some point, but right now I just have to I'm definitely an idea person and get really excited and want to grow it and grow it. And so that's actually one of the reasons that we're pulling back a bit from the merchandise. It's important for me to focus, okay, let's make this work, and then we can add more at the right time.
I'm really interested in the beer. I have an 18-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
Who one day she won't eat, and I can go, that's it. The next day, okay, no. So would that help her?
Potentially, yeah. Every dog is different, and so we, not universally they haven't all loved it, but we've had so many experiences where it has been helpful. The dog that I got when I was a teenager is still kicking, and she's about 15 and a half. And she's at my mom's house, and my mom just took home a bunch of the doggy beer for her yesterday. So some days it works really well on her, and other days she's a little bit, they're just old.
Question number 2.
Yeah.
Where can I get it?
Right now, we don't have anywhere in Lawrence that's offering it, but you can order online from me, and we're in several. Our doggy beer is available at a couple of IDs in Kansas City, but if you order right now, we've got like through up till Christmas, we've got a 20% off deal. So please check it out.
Can you speak a little bit about the process of different iterations while you were developing the biscuits, how you went as far as the idea of ingredients to use, taste testing, and to where it is today?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that because I get to tell one of my favorite stories. So this is almost a little bit embarrassing, but when I first started making my dog biscuits, I've never been a big baker. This is something like I really fell into it and just been diving headlong into it. And I actually didn't have a rolling pin. And I thought in the beginning that I should roll them out into bars and make them like that, or maybe try and cut them into shapes. So because I didn't have a rolling pin, I actually started rolling them out with beer bottles. True, kind of embarrassing and funny story. So we did that, and the bake time on the biscuits is really, really long because cement grains are pretty wet, and it's very important. We have a really long shelf life on our biscuits of about 6 months, but the only way that we can get to that, of course, is to bake these biscuits until they're super, super dry and get like virtually no moisture content in them. So I realized pretty quickly that rolling them out and doing the bars, it was taking me way too long to bake them, and it still takes a while. So we moved from the bars, and then I started doing, using melon ballers. A friend of mine at my day job actually gave me this really nice melon baller, and she said, here, why don't you try this? And that's been a godsend. It's really great. So our biscuits are about that big, and some people feel like they're a little bit big for small dogs, but I just hold up coconut and I say, she manages. She's pretty tiny. And since they're so crunchy, they tend to work on them for a little while. And I always like that, especially with my older dog, Scooby. I can give him a biscuit and he'd work on it for a while. But back to your question, we're still going through with the iterations. Right now it's focused a little more on packaging. So we have 2 sizes of the biscuit bags, 6 ounce and a 12 ounce. And we found that the 6 ounce bags far outpace the 12 ounce bags on store shelves, and for the most part at events. Now, once people realize that their dogs just really love these biscuits, then they may be more likely to buy the bigger ones. But we're probably going to start phasing out those 12 ounce bags and just go with the thing that's selling the strongest.
Is the dog beer in a beer bottle?
It is in a beer color bottle. So this is what we've been using right now. We did some research and settled on this particular bottle because we like the size of it. It holds 8 ounces. And one thing that I always have to mention about the dog beer is one bottle, it's not like a person's beer, one bottle should last you about a week. So it depends on how generous your pour is, but you just pour a little bit over their food and you kind of figure it out based on your dog's preference.
Well, the reason I ask is because one time my husband brought home a bottle. It looked like a beer. So there's other people making beer for dogs.
Yeah, there are. There are a couple on the West Coast that are doing it. We're the only ones in the Midwest.
This was in Kansas City, and he bought it from a truck, and it was in a plastic beer.
That was probably Bowser Beer, and that's another really cool startup that runs that truck. They're called Good Dog To Go.
Okay.
Yeah. They were actually one of the first vendors to sell my bottle openers.
Following along with that, as marketing, don't you think the novelty of the beer bottle would boost and pique interest in dog beer?
Yeah, I think that it could. We just haven't found one that's available, and actually one that doesn't look exactly like the competitor's bottle. So I'm certainly open to moving to a different bottle. That one, I don't know, then we kind of go back and forth because we found that our product is almost like a supplement and has, I won't say that it's like medicine, but because that bottle looks almost like a medicine bottle to some people, then it kind of fits with what our product really is. We've thought about, should we rebrand it, do something different with it, but right now we'll just stick with the dog beer. But I do think probably right on the shelf when people see it, having that instant beer connotation could have some benefit.
Because I gave the whole thing all at one time too.
And did you all like it?
Yeah, I thought, well, it's like, it's like water.
Any other questions out there?
When you say we or us, are you referring to you and your dad, or who is it that's running the company?
Yeah, so I have a business partner who he wasn't able to be here today, but his name is Will Blackheart, and his background is also, he's got an MBA, and his background is in social media marketing and business, and so he has a lot more of that experience that he's able to bring forward. I have the majority partnership, and then Beta Blocks, the startup accelerator that we went through, they technically own, have 5% equity in the company as well. So it's mostly me and more me and Will. Yeah, it's nice to have partners.
So 2 questions. First one, it sounds like you've got a lot of sales channels, the internet, grocery store, and then at these fairs or events. So do you feel like you're just kind of going with the full court press, or do you want to end up steering it to one or the other?
You're exactly right. Right now we're just on full court press. We've been pushing really hard to generate more wholesale accounts, and that's the direction that I'd really like to see it go. It's awesome to do the internet business. I feel like, I don't know, I love having those relationships with the wholesalers, and I feel like our future is probably within the craft beer market. So they sell really, really well at breweries and anything beer related. I love doing the internet stuff, but it's a lot, and it's more expensive for the consumer because when we have to figure out the shipping and everything.
And then second question, so you went through an accelerator in Kansas City. Did it help? Did it hurt? What was the process like? Talk about that.
Yeah, great question. You know, it's been a really good experience, and I'm still involved there. It was a very simple application process, and then to get into Beta Blocks, or to get into the first round of interviews. And then we went through, or at that time it was really just me, I went through several stages of interviews and kind of like a Shark Tank-like moment in a room where they were asking me questions like this, but I was ultra nervous. And Beta Blocks accepts about 10 companies a few times a year and puts you through, 4 months of classes. So we would meet every Monday for a mentor or a lecture by Wes Bergman, who founded Beta Blocks. And he would just talk us through all manner of things that you encounter in business, from accounting to marketing. And then on Thursday nights, they always have a mentor lecture. So an entrepreneur from the community or a successful entrepreneur who's visiting the community will come in and talk to whoever shows up for this lecture for about an hour. And those have been really helpful. I think that one of the big things that I got out of participating in Beta Blocks was, in the beginning, people, my friends and family, kind of thought this was this cute thing Crystal's doing. Oh, look, she's selling bottle openers. That's so cute. And then getting into the accelerator program made people take me more seriously. And I realized, oh no, this is a business. This is a passion of hers that she really wants to make, her life's work. So it made people perk up, and that was great. And the other great thing about Beta Blocks is that when you're a part of that community, then now those are kind of my brethren for life in business, and we help each other. It's a support network, and Wes and the other mentors really opened up their Rolodexes to us. So I've gotten some great mentors out of it.
What, not part for the horse, but do you have an end game that you're looking at? Are you interested in trying to more or less just grow as big as you can, or looking for eventually hopefully someone want to buy out, or have you thought that far down the road?
You know, I do. I think about that a lot, and I'm not sure which direction I want to go with it. I think definitely at some point here in the next year we'll be looking at hopefully courting investors, because we'll need some help to scale up. And so if the right situation came along, the business was in a great spot, someone was interested in buying us out, then would absolutely always consider things like that. But it'll just kind of depend on how things move. where I'm at with it. It's a company is a lot of pain, it's my heart.
Have you outsourced any portions of the business?
Not really, other than some of the merchandise that we're kind of making a secondary focus. So the bottle openers are made in the USA by an eco-friendly woman-owned company in Chicago. And then some of the other merchandise that we make. But other than outsourcing the like collars and bracelets to my dad right now. Any other questions?
If there are no more questions or last chance for anybody. Okay, if there are no more questions, we ask a standard question at the end of the session. What can we do to help you?
Thank you, I'm glad that you asked that. So the first thing, like I mentioned a little while ago, was get out there, like us on Facebook, tell your friends, help us get to 3,000 followers on Facebook so I can get a little bit of extra money towards Great Plains SPCA. Kind of my reasoning behind doing that is, you know, we occasionally engage in Facebook advertising, and that works really well, and I'm cool with that, but I would kind of rather give that money that I would give to Facebook to the organizations that we partner with. So that's kind of my end game there. I think, yeah, Charlie says that's a good idea. The other thing that I would love for you guys to do is, you know, we definitely would like to have representation here in the Lawrence market. So if there are, I know there are lots of good breweries here, like Free State. I would love any contacts with breweries here in this area, and also almost more immediately with any potential retailers that we can partner with who could carry our products. And then of course, you know, love us up on social media, tell your friends.
Okay, thank you very much, Bristol. And thanks everyone for attending today, and we'll be back here next week, same time. And thanks for, again, for Cider January, because he's coffee, and everybody else has and she'll be here for a few minutes, I think. If you wanted to ask her a few more questions or exchange cards, there's samples, etc. And please stay and enjoy the coffee from the